BodyBags, where horror lies.
Hey guys, Rob from Georgia here with you. I'm your Wednesday night host here at BodyBags. It is week 355. And this week, as promised, the continuation of Lamberto Bava's unique vision of what we call demons. With Demons 2 from 1986, 1 year later. You know, I was thinking the other day, you know, one of the things that made the 80s so freaking cool as a kid is you had this from probably about 1985 to about 88, right? And at least here in this country, you had just suddenly an explosion of sequels, and not just sequels, but seemingly, especially as a kid during that time, or you know, a late teenager, mid to late teenager, just seemingly over the top special effects, just absolutely incredible sequels. I mean, beginning with Day of the Dead in 85, you know, working your way through Demons 2, of course, would come, and I would find it on my video shelf, but TCM2, Aliens, of course, in 86 and 87, The Evil Dead 2 would come out, Nightmare on Elm Street 3 in 88, Phantasm 2, Hellraiser, Hellbound, and of course Halloween 4. So some unique moments as far as sequels go in this country. And in the middle of all that, the grand experiment that was, unfortunately, in a way, but fortunately, Demons 2. And that is, of course, again, my Arrow reversible cover art 2-disc. It's got commentary. Actually, it has a commentary by Bava, which is really super cool to listen to, and some extras in there, right? But Demons 2, you know, this is one of those, man. What an awesome opportunity! I don't know what's more tragic: DeAngelis, not as a producer, not following up Zombie in '79 with an immediate sequel, with Fulci pushing the narrative forward and creating Italy's own zombie franchise that really could have, for all practical purposes, competed and maybe outdo Romero's own vision. Maybe without the social commentary, perhaps, but in terms of De Rossi, the effects, with all that stuff was going. Missed opportunity, man. It's not going to be a long time before they sort of circle back to that. But Demons, man, maybe even a greater missed opportunity, because with the first entry, you know, again, I mean, you got Sacchetti writing, Argento, Bava, of course, the son of the great Mario Bava, Ferrini, who wrote, had his hand on the opera script, which I don't, you know, it doesn't bother me that movie flopped. That movie is maybe one of my favorite, most cherished Argento flicks. Giallos aside, you know, Bird with the Crystal Plumage, one of my favorites, Deep Red, whatnot. But a unique vision in the original Demons heavy metal soundtrack, man. I mean, Claudio Simonetti, you know, with the score, Sergio Stivoletti, with the great, awesome mechanical side and practical effects, makeup, pushing some boundaries, creating a unique world in Italy in terms of this demon infection, whatever you want to call it, a film within a film. It was just awesome, and leaving it at the tail end, leaving it opened up for the grand opportunity and possibilities of where you could go if you were just willing to sink some money and just run with it. And therein lies the great tragedy that is a Demons franchise it would not become. And it is so unfortunate, because really in a nutshell, Demons 2 really is, it is, call it a remake, redo, a sort of retrospective on the original film. It really does hit all the marks of the original film in pretty much a very, very similar way. But it does go off track a little bit. You still have a film buried within a film. The idea of a demon coming out of the TV screen, the practical idea of using latex, that effect is phenomenally executed, man, beautifully. You've got, which I hardly ever mentioned, maybe never mentioned, but you've got Lamberto paying tribute to his own dad in Black Sunday with how the demon within the film within a film is resurrected via a la Black Sunday. Not much very different. A melting wax head done reverse. It's quite a cool effect. But just where the film within a film perhaps is a little bit more interesting in the first film, unfortunately, because the second film, Demons 2, really follows in very, very, very similar and not even quite as well as the first film. The film that's buried within a film is even that much more better. And in fact, it really is frustrating when you consider the world that they created within the world and how that could have looked on a grand scale with money and just the people that Lamberto had around him. I mean, this franchise really could have opened up into some really uncharted territory. I mean, we're talking, way before 28 Days Later, Wreck, all these great films that would come out later on, 10, 20 some years later. You had an opportunity to forge some unique ground and do some really incredible grand scale things, and unfortunately those things, the templates of ideas or whatnot, are just left to a film within a film. And it's really, really super frustrating because after Demons 2, there is not a direct return. I, heard the question, why? Well, when all in the end you really do is remake the first film, you're sort of cutting your own proverbial throat. You're sort of undercutting yourself. What really needed to happen was, if everyone just sat there collectively, could have understood that they were at the edge of the end of the grand horror experiment that is Italian cinema of the 80s, the 70s up into the 80s. If they could have just realized that and said, you know what, we need the money, we gotta push this forward. Who knows, man? It might have reopened up a whole new, just a whole new era of filmmaking in terms of horror and how it was. As far as the story, again, it's really lockstep in with the original, except this time you're moved to a high-rise. The film within a film conveys this notion that Berlin has been laid waste, has been quarantined off. We've got some of our heroes within the film are going into the Forbidden Zone. They will unwillingly, again, a la Black Sunday, resurrect a demon that ultimately will push its way, in a Lovecraftian sense, from its world into our world. Now, the end of this film is very curious because it asks more questions than it answers in terms of who's behind this. It's almost like it's deliberate, it's intentional, almost like a Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, intentional, with purpose. Something or someone's behind this, but we're just left with kind of trying to figure it out on our own. It's kind of unfortunate in that sense. Stivalletti's effects are just freaking outstanding in this movie, though. Don't get me wrong, man. This movie, man, Callum Waddell said, man, if you own this, you own a piece of what was even towards the tail end. This might be the last big breath that is Italian cinema as it was. And it is unfortunate. It does represent a lot, as far as, that film Underwater representing the last official 20th Century Fox film. Demons 2, man, it represents a lot. And it's unfortunate that they could not have really, think about it. I mean, Italy, even today, with us horror hounds, we look back and we know Italy was, made its money on copying the trends of others, and at least in 2 instances, Zombie and Demons, it really could have forged out its own unique territory, and in of itself been, a template to be followed by others, perhaps even here in this country. So it is unfortunate. Not a lot to say other than the plot narrative. Again, you got your heroes. I'll say the one thing that's really awesome about the use of the high-rise is they make use of the entire high-rise, down into, Bobby Rhodes' character down in the basement. These gym fanatics are down there dealing with the demons. You got people throughout the high-rise. Ultimately, you get up to the roof. They just make use of everything they do have. it's fun. I mean, it's a fun. Simon Boswell's on board with the score. It's not Claudio Simonetti, but Boswell does do a phenomenal job, and the inner tracks are, they're not your heavy metal tracks as Demons was, more punk rock sort of kind of music, but works to effect. It works. Bottom line is, man, it's still a fun movie to enjoy. It's like, man, though, if they could have just realized what they had and just ran with it, it's unfortunate that, who knows? I mean, just the fact that we have a film within a film, a film within a film, and you take those two concepts and you really think, what were these guys talking about, man? What was Argento, Bava, and then Sacchetti? Excuse me. What were they talking about? What kind of dreams were they envisioning up? What were they, man, if only we could do this or that? It blows the freaking mind away because we just get little tiny snapshots in there. But man, still though, it's worth enjoying, man. And I know I was, as a kid, I was stoked to rent this off the video shelf and enjoy it. And even today, being able to revisit in a more critical way, still enjoying it though for what it is. Demons 2, man, it's unfortunate. 1 and 2, that's what we have. There's some films that follow after that really do not, they're not canon, but there's sort of pseudo, demons-esque films, The Church, Michele Solve's film, of course, and others people try to tuck in there. But really what you do have is you have the 1-2 punch, and it's just sad. It's sad in a way, but it's something that we still have that we can still enjoy. Demons 2. Just kind of rambled off what came to my mind. Most of you are watching this probably have seen Demons and Demons 2, so maybe I've sort of given you something to think about. So in week 355, we stand on the precipice of yet another theme week, Hammer, I believe. So look forward to that. And I do believe next month is my month. I'm already sort of scheming what I may do, so be aware of that as we ultimately wander into July. And man, if I said something you like or add on to a comment down below, hit the like button. Keep following BodyBags. Each and every day we have a new video, and everyone's just really pulling their weight, doing their job. It's a great time to be part of BodyBags right now, and as I say from time to time, BodyBags for life, all right? And as I always do at the end of these things, man, take care, man. Till the next time, go Bills.
This is not a dream. Not a dream.